Hey guys, this is Pikmin Master, and what is this? Well, this is a video on, hey, what if I was a character in Record Keeper? Since I do like the Final Fantasy series, and Record Keeper is actually I find it really good. It's also pretty simplistic, so it's kind of easy to make a video like this. So, I just want to get straight into it. By the way, this is actually the 4th recording I have of this, because it's the whole idea of making an OC in Record Keeper while being not, broken and stuff like that is pretty complicated. Enough for me to actually do 4 takes on this thing. So hopefully I'll do this in a way to make it quick and people can understand what I'm going with, even though they have no idea what this game is. Okay, so I'm going to list some help of some of my main team and even some characters from other games to help me out for Record Keeper, just to give you an understanding what the heck's going on and why am I doing this. So, what if I was in Record Keeper? So let's get this going. Now, my character would be in a core realm. Now, what is a core realm? Well, if you notice, of my main team, each of them is from different games. One's from 2, one's from 12, one's from 9, one's from 6, and one's from 5. So, essentially, if there's a character from a certain game that goes into a dungeon from that same game, that character will get a boost. For example, let's say having Faris in Final Fantasy VII dungeon, well, she'll just act normal. But what if Tidus, let's say, goes into a Final Fantasy X dungeon? You'll notice that, hey, he's kind of glowing a bit. He has a little blue aura. What if he is Super Saiyan Blue or something? Imagine Super Saiyan Blue Tidus. That'd be weird. That means that Tidus here would get some sort of power boost, an experience boost. Now, of course, you can also apply to your entire team. So let's say have a whole full Final Fantasy IV team, and go to some sort of big Final Fantasy IV dungeon. They will all get the power boost. They will all get experience boost. As you can see here, with the stats that are on blue, normally they're on white. However, if they're the correct synergy, as the game calls it, or as fans call it, I don't know if I think the game calls it too. The color of the numbers will be blue, meaning that they get a power boost. Also you can see that, hey, Edge here has the weapons and armor slot is has a blue border. So what I said about the characters having a boost from the dungeon from the game they're based on, the weapons and armor are the same thing. So Edge here would have a power boost naturally, a power boost from his weapon, and an armor boost from his armor. So that's kind of insane. It's kind of the whole point with why people would prefer doing main synergy only with their weapons from that same dungeon for, let's say, an event, because it'll get super darn strong. Now, now you know that context. What is core? Core is this little crystal thing, crystal, I guess, game, which means it's from its own game. Although the only character that exhibits this is Tyro, and there's the main character Tyro. He's a core character. Of course, it also applies to the generic job classes of the game, which aren't exactly that powerful. But core essentially means that you don't really get a boost from anything. However, if you somehow come across a dungeon with a core realm, then Tyro or job classes will get the same attack boosts. Although I don't think the weapons and armor apply, because I think the only core weapons are Tyro's exclusive weapons. So that's kind of the point. So that's what my character is not from any specific game. So I'll leave it at core. Okay, so that's that. Now, what is type? So what is type? Essentially means it gives you, in a phrase, a general idea of what that character is meant for. For example, you could have a character that is main offense magic, like Golbez, or having physical speed, or physical support, or defense, or healing magic, or physical magic hybrid. I think there are others too. Essentially means a general idea what the character does. Although the stats don't necessarily mean they have abilities that allow them to do that. So, because there are a few like instances of characters that say they're a specific type, but they're actually acted a bit differently. I don't get examples that I don't know anywhere at the bat. Now, what would my character be? So, I decided for my character to be healing magic type, meaning that, okay, it means you're generally a white mage. Also, every character has some sort of like little description of them. It's not exactly that big. Essentially means like generalize what that character is in their own game. I put for my little description, so to say, gamer, because that's kind of who I am. Easy enough. Next up, abilities. Essentially means what kind of moveset do I have? Now, of course, every character can do certain things. For example, some characters have black magic, so they can use black magic. Others can use like certain of the stronger versions of white magic or black magic or knight or dragoon, so to say. So this is shown by the stars. So those stars mean that, okay, so let's say you have I don't know, let's say 5-star white magic for Winbu because it's easy. You have that. It just means that you can use every single white magic in the game, including the 6-star white magics. Although you need to do certain things to do that, to get access to 6 stars. Of course, you see one character can do like one kind of abilities. Others have multiple abilities they can use. Like, for example, you can have a good knight skill, but not so much a good like white magic skill, but a decent black magic skill. It just means that there are certain abilities that you're restricted to. So you can't use some of the higher end abilities if you do not have the proper stars as that ability. Like, for example, let's say Summon Magic Meduin has 4 stars. If you have a 3-star summon on your character, you cannot use Meduin. Simple as that. Mine will be White Magic 5 stars, Knight 5 stars, Spellblade 4 stars. Now, why Spellblade 4 stars? Well, I decided, hey, the main reason why I have Spellblade in the first place kind of goes into my super moves, or soul breaks as the game calls it. So, long story short, I want this character to abuse the crap out of Blizzaga Strike, which is an ice-based Mystic Knight class ability. So this means physical ice damage. That's a good list for the main reason why I have Spellblade 4 there. It'll just be White 5, Knight 5. Unless I want to do this record dive thing to get Spellblade 4, but that's just like really complicated things. It's not for beginners. It's more of a mid to end game kind of thing. But I'm not gonna focus on that. So that's not the focus of my OC. So generally means I have access to every single white magic, every single ability deemed Knight ability, which are generally with defense based, but also have some sort of some attacks to them. Like, example, the Banish Strike, which is a holy physical attack. And Spellblade 4, which gives you access to generally most of the elemental physical attacks in the game. Like for example, Fire Aga Strike, which means the physical variant of that element, and Thunder and Ice and Poison, which is Biora Strike. I don't think they have Bioga Strike, no. And then they have wind-based Spellblades too. That's the general idea of Spellblade 4. Spellblade 5 has like Flare Strike, which is a really powerful like non-elemental, and Tornado Strike, very powerful wind-based. But I don't really care if my character has that or not, so I'm gonna leave it at 4. So really, like, what does a character need to be strong? And generally, but not always, that the more things your character can do, the more likely that character is actually not that strong. So, example, Minwu has only white magic, but he compensates for having a really good stat for white magic. Whereas, I'm not going to show it here. I think I can show it here, but not really. Tyro, for example, I showed you, can have access to literally everything. Like, if there's like an exclusive weapon, like a weapon only made specifically for one character, and the best example of this is Barret, because Barret's the only character in the entire game to wield gun arms. Naturally, because, well, look at the guy. But, Tyro can use it too, because he can use everything. Now, because he can use literally everything in the game compensates that for him having one of the suckiest stats in the game. Like, his stats suck. And now that we're mentioning stats, what would my character's stats will be? Now, here's a good example of stats, generally for this character, for his character. Now, my character would have, attack 2 stars, magic 1 star, accuracy and evasion doesn't matter, they're all 3 stars. Defense 5 stars, resistance 3 stars, HP 3 stars, mind 5 stars, 1 speed. What does this mean? Well, it just means that, okay, so my character has really good white magic capabilities and can tank very well. However, you can't lift a spell to save your life. Attack, generally physical attacking kinda sucks. It's not that special. And everything else kind of average. And I've also put here the stats of level 1, level 50, level 65, level 80, because those are the respective level caps. Because level 1 is where you start with, and 50, 65, and 80 are the respective level caps. Recently, you have the capability of going to level 99, but I don't want to go there since only like a very, very few select characters at the time of this video can go to level 99. So I'm not going to go there yet. Maybe if this video is actually popular enough, I could probably go further. And heck, maybe I can have some people from outside sources to help me out with this. Speaking of, I actually have indeed checked with the Final Fantasy Record Keeper subreddit for some of this, but I'm not going to go there yet because it gets more relevant a bit later on in this video. Okay, so next up in this little OC building is equipment. What do I wear? Now, here's an example of a character like, oh, he has this, can equip this, and that, and have this armor set. Okay, so sometimes when a character can be really good, that character can't really equip that much. For example, here's Beatrix and her excellent weapon selection of only 2 things. Of daggers and swords and nothing else. I mean, granted, swords literally among the best weapon types in the game, since a lot more characters could equip swords than anything else. But that's not the point. The point is that, Beatrix over here can't do anything else other than swords. So what if I want... And since she has a 5-star in white magic, that would mean that, how would I put this? She's good at attacking, because of course she is. However, if she wants to, focus more on the healing aspect of her being a paladin, she can't do that effectively, because there aren't that many swords or daggers that take advantage of increasing her mind stat. My character, on the other hand, is okay with this, since I want my character to wield daggers, swords, bows, and staffs, since, first of all, every character in the game, I've checked that it seems that every character in the game can equip daggers regardless of who they are, what do they equip normally. For example, like I said, Barrett. Unfortunately, I don't have an image of Barrett in RK, even though I think I locked him already. But his only really weapon selection is daggers, guns, and gun arms, which makes sense because it would make sense because it makes sense to do with his character. Some characters can equip a lot of weapons, like for example, again, Tyro can equip everything, and also characters like Bards can equip a lot of things. Even I think characters like Wall from Mobius, which counts as a Final Fantasy 1 character, can equip a lot of things, and Farian can equip a lot of things. I guess generally your equipment options based on what makes sense for your character, and what makes sense for my character is sword, bow, and staff. Now, initially, I thought, but the 3rd iteration of this video, I thought that every single character who could equip rods can equip staves, and every character who could equip staves can equip rods. Since at the time, had yet to find an example of characters that only wield rods, which are the black mage specialty weapon, and staves, which are the white mage specialty weapon. Until I came across I already checked and looked at Golbez's stats for the purpose of this video, I've noticed that he can equip rods, but not staves. Because, let's face it, it's like, for those who know about Golbez is a mage. You wouldn't think of it by his sprite, or you wouldn't think of it by his, like, what he looks like normally, because he looks like a freaking, like, armored beast. He looks like a beast. You think that he's more of, this general knight. Granted, he does have knight skills, but that's the point. The point is that he looks very armored. Heck, Big G himself says this better than I can.
You really ought to dress the part if you're a wizard.
But he's main black mage, and he equips rods for the purpose of black magic. So okay, that makes sense for a black mage. But I've noticed he does not equip staves. I mean, granted, he doesn't need to, but it's a new thing I've noticed. So that means that yes, I'm okay with not needing to equip rods anymore. Granted, I never used equip rod, but yeah. So and bows, it's a good example of Rosa again for FF4, who is a white mage, but mains bows as her weapon. So the game is like, you know what? Let's give Rosa something, and let's give bows the general weapon type a stat. Give you a general, like, a mind stat increase alongside attack increase that swords have. Let's say swords can only increase attack. Bows can also increase mind. Okay. Head Rose is like, oh, thank you, game, for letting me do that. So every character equipped bows can have this little mind boost if needed. Not everyone can use it. Let's say Faris, for some weird reason, she mains bows, and yet she doesn't need the mind stat because she's not a white mage. Okay, so that's pretty much it. I'm not going to go any further than that. It's just, hey, these 4 weapon types, here's the reason, whatever. Now, armor types, you probably noticed that there's no head slot, body slot, and whatever else slot. It's just one slot. That being said, my character could equip shields, bracers, hats, light armor, robes, and accessories as a separate slot, so everyone can equip that. Doesn't matter. I went with generally mage gear, but also equip shields in case I really need to, to be buff. Also, side note, it wasn't until not long ago that the game that developers decided, hey, Minwu should equip shields due to, like, his main artwork depicts him with a shield, not a staff. So, and even though his main weapon is a staff, he's more depicted with a shield, so let's give him shields. And even though I don't use shields for him, I find it as a really good job for actually keeping tradition with my man Minwu. So good job, man. So that's why I hit shields, because I want to put some defense, and hey, shields are cool. Bracers are attack increasing armor slots, so let's leave that there, because heck, even characters that shouldn't equip bracers do, like Aerith. I think Aerith. Hats and robes are white mage gear, and light armor just like regular dude gear. And accessories, everyone can equip it, no problem. Alright, so everything else in this video is going to be the more complicated stuff. So from here, I actually asked some people in the Final Fantasy Record Keeper subreddit to assist me in whether or not some of this stuff is way too OP or not. And they did found something that's OP, and I'll get to that soon. But they found something OP, so I decided, okay, I'm going to change that to something that's one of them recommended, actually, instead. Let's start with the first one. Now, record material, what that is a little general boost for people who have gone past the level 50 initial level cap. So when you hit the first level cap at 50, you need to use something called a memory crystal for that specific character, and then break the level cap, and then you immediately get something called record materia. They're buffs. They're generally buff things. Some don't matter that much, but others do a lot, and they matter. They are like kind of the turn point of the game, like without some of them. However, the one you get at the beginning usually isn't that good for anyone but what the character is meant for. I call mine Blade of Wisdom, which means Mine will slightly increase wielding a sword, meaning that if I equip a sword, then I get slightly better mind stat, which means better healing. Now, a good example is that Rosa has something similar to it, which is replace sword with bow, because that's makes sense for her character. Also, I'm not gonna show it here, but there's one for Kuja, which is increased dark element attacks, and that sort of thing. Now, there are some, record materials actually quite hard to get. For example, Minwu, I give Minwu right now the Lady of Ivalice record materia, which is from Ovelia, from Tactics. And you probably noticed, without knowing what I just said, you're thinking, but Minwu's now Lady. So, the cool thing about record materia is that once you get a record materia, and you're level 50 past the level cap, and you have another character to pass the level cap, but you rather have the record material you have and pass on to another character, you can do that. Which is awesome. For example, as you can see here, Ovelia has a record materia which allows for every single regular attack to be changed into a white magic attack that is not elemental, which means it's an attack that uses the mind stat, but it doesn't have an element. That's awesome for Minwu for basic dungeons. So it doesn't have to be kind of useless while the party member just wail on with their 4-digit attacks. So it means Minwu can use his own 4-digit attack before reaching the boss. However, getting that's kind of hard because to unlock most of these record materials, you'll need to randomly obtain it when the character in question that you want it for is already in the party. For example, the second one. My second record material, I have to call defense to attack. What does that mean? It just means that I use my defense stat for my attacks. So, your attack uses your attack stat, which makes sense. However, there is a knight skill that uses your defense stat for your next attack. So imagine that is that, but natively, essentially. And the guys in the subreddit says that that specific record material isn't exactly helpful at all. So it's really not really worth it to keep. Which is fine with me, because there are a lot of record materials that they're super useless. So it's not big of a deal for me. But it would be a big deal for my character, since my character doesn't have a good attack stat, but has a good defense stat, so it will benefit my character. For dungeon crawling, so to say. Now, it's usually most characters have 2 record materials, but others have 3. So let's give my third, which is I call Medical Instinct. Which what it does is whenever I use a healing ability, I use it the moment I press the button to use it. However, they're not as strong as a healing spell without it. Now, what does that mean? Now, what it means is, okay, so you have the ATP gauge from Final Fantasy IV onward. You wait for a gauge to fill up, then it's your turn, select your move, and then you wait for another gauge to fill up, and then you use the move. Simple as that. So what it means by instantly cast means that you wait for the gauge to fill up, it's your turn, click on the press the part of the screen with buttons, so to say. And then as soon as whatever action is already happening, once that's done, you use your move. Regardless of what happens next. That's instant cast. I don't think it needs to explain any further. Now, like I said before, they found an OP thing. So before I put this in, I put something kind of OP. I put some. This is what I had before I retyped this. Whatever all my healing abilities are, they affect the entire party, but they're weaker. Now, they consider that super OP because generally, full party heals are reserved for the soul breaks. They're reserved for your super attacks. Because there's no white magic or anything in the game that heals your entire party in one ability. So the game actually reserves that specific thing for your super attacks. So thinking, okay, that's kind of OP. You can't just do that natively. So okay, I'll just replace that with something else. Now, usually your third record material, you have to break the level cap twice. Whenever your last thing is, or your second or third, depending on the character, you have to go to level 65 and then use a second memory crystal for that specific character, and then you get a chance to get it on a certain dungeon. It's gonna be tedious, but good luck with that. Alright, that's that. Now time for something called soul breaks, which I mentioned quite a lot. Every character in the game has their default soul break, meaning that what it does is, okay, so you fill up a gauge, and once that gauge is filled up, and to fill that gauge, you just bow normally, and there are some record materials and abilities that influence it, influence the gauge. Like, for example, this is a thing called Life Siphon, which is learned by characters with high combat skills like Lightning. Yes, we're bringing Lightning here. To allow said character to perform their super attacks. So, every character's first soul break kinda sucks. Like, so say, for example, Faris uses her default soul break, which is just a water attack. It's just like a regular attack to all enemies that's water elemental. No big deal. It's just like whatever. What my first soul break, my default soul break, meaning you get this as soon as you get my character. Ice Beam. Deal moderate white magic ice damage to a single target. Essentially means, okay, I use an ice elemental move using my mind stat. Is decently powerful, as powerful as the second tier ice attack Blizzara to one opponent. That's it. Why the heck would I have a magic? Why the heck would I have a random attacking move if I'm supposed to be a healer? Like there are like one or two people in subreddit who actually posted. It's kind of weird that you have random ice attacks among your healer. It's kind of weird. But of course, me and ice. I freaking love ice. Next soul break, you get the next tier is called unique. So you go from default to unique, and to get the unique soul break, and from there forward, you need to use mithril or like real life money on this random so to say like a banner pole or whatever, and you randomly get a weapon from the what do you call it, gacha? I don't remember the word of it, but you go to the relic draws. You click either the times 3 pull, the times 11 pull, the times 1 pull, and then you either pay money or mithril depending on what you get, and then the Mog will actually give you either a 3, 4, or 5-star weapon or armor piece. Of course, being free to play, or pay to win in this case, if you really want a specific weapon, you get ready to spend a ton of money. I remember, actually, I have spent a ton of money for nothing, since I wanted to get Celus's Burst Soul Break. I'll get to that, but I spent over $100, and then after I noticed I did not get it at all, I'm like, screw that! I'm out! And it's kind of stupid, kind of crazy, because literally a day before that, I spent a bunch of money and just got Faris's Burst, and I'm like, wow, I actually got that, even though the intention ain't going for Gilgamesh's, but whatever. So yeah, this is probably spent a ton of money for. Unique soul breaks are kind of lackluster nowadays due to the plethora of higher tiered attacks. So let's just go to mine first. So mine is called Preparation, which is moderately heal the party. So there's the party heal I was talking about earlier. And along with that, you raise the defensive resistance of the party. Hey, that's actually pretty decent. You actually, it's a preparation, so to say. That's why I call it Preparation. And because it's just a stat increase, it also stacks with Protect and Shell. It also stacks with, because it's defense resistant, it also stacks with one of the most popular soul breaks in the game, which is Ramza's Shout, which is a huge attack increase, and also haste the entire party. So it's meant to stack with Shout. It's meant to stack with Protect Shelga, which of course which my character can use because he's a white mage. So I try to make that pretty decent, but not like perfect, because like I said, not all unique soul breaks even nowadays are even that good. So, but it is good like for like a really early game, but for like even mid game, even like early to mid game, it's not that special. What is special is the super soul breaks, which are the like really good ones, the really powerful ones. Or if they don't attack, they do some really amazing effect. So, or both. It could be a good attack and have a decent effect. For example, hey Lightning, you mind coming here again? Show us your super soul break. What she does, it's quite a lot of attacks. I think it's quite lightning elemental attacks to everyone in the enemy team. So that's pretty dang good. Not everyone has a super soul break, because for some reason, Ferris, even though I have 4 soul breaks of hers, she has no super. She has like her default, because of course, 2 uniques and her burst. And I think she has another one from a relic I don't have. It's weird. Yeah, some characters have a super. They're actually generally really good moves. So what is mine? Mine is not an attacking move. Mine is called Guardian Angel. The user draws in physical attacks and magic attacks, or black magic generally. Not only that, I also counter every single attack directed to me with a non-elemental white magic attack for 30 seconds. 30 seconds? Like, for those who are familiar with the game, 30 seconds is a lot. Freaking bring retaliate meta great again. Oh, Donald Trump jokes. Oh, the guy's weird. But, what's the point of this? The point of this is drawing with any attack from the enemy or the boss, because considering retaliate's is like ridiculously useless now, but I'll hopefully get that soon. There is a knight ability called Draw Fire, which essentially is cover for those who know regular Final Fantasy. So whenever opponent does a regular attack, it gets redirected to me. And why would I need that for a healer? But of course, I'm tanky healer, so it's fine. And magic, same thing. So there's a one night ability called Magic Lore, which does the same thing. It's cover for magic. And not only that, is a third thing. I also get Retaliate, like a special Retaliate, and Retaliate it's just your counter attacking move. So you just stand still for a few seconds, and then if you get hit, you attack back. It's just a counter. But they generally are not that good anymore because they don't last that long, and bosses generally go through the Retaliate. So I want my Soul Break Retaliate to affect even the bosses, even late game bosses. So I'll counterattack whatever anything throws at my party to the enemy. That's the whole point of my super. Now time for burst, which I went for quite a bit. Now what burst attacks does, they do some sort of extra thing once you do your move, which generally is not as strong as super, but what they do is give you haste after that move, and also give you something called burst mode. Now I don't have any like specific video. I haven't recorded anything like regarding what moves you get for each burst mode, because they're different for each character depending on who the character is and if they make sense. Faris, for example, will just show her burst. Freaking Sildra, yeah, her freaking burst by Sildra, and she gets moves. They're water. They look like water attacks, but they're not water attacks. One is to decrease the opponent's magic stat after an attack, and one is lower the opponent's attack stat temporarily, of course. After getting hit by a non-elemental attack. So that's fastest thing, and of course, other characters do differently. For example, Beatrix, her thing is essentially gain similar to what I had before with the drawing and magic and regular attacks. alongside some holy damage, and other ones just do a bit more holy damage. What is my burst soul break for those who care? I named it Blizzard, not Blizzard. Blizzard. I'm like, as I was typing that name, I realized I can make a really good pun with this because I'm a healer and I'm using an ice attack. So Blizzard, Blizzard. I kind of want to trademark that word just so I can use it. I hope no one else uses the term Blizzard because I love that term. I just want to use that word a lot. Deal 5 white magic ice attacks to all targets, and heal the party, and reviving any party member. I'm considering doing every party member, but that's kind of not worth it. And grants the user haste and burst mode, because that's what they always do. So revive. So get to use revive on a party member. So let's say if a party member gets KO'd, I can use the burst to actually revive a party member alongside a whole party heal, alongside some damage. Now I've not decided whether or not I should put the reviver before or after the party heal, since I don't know. Like, what do you guys think? Should it make sense? Like, does it make sense if I do the party heal before or after the revival? Now what new attacks do I get off of that? The new attacks I mentioned earlier with Varus, replace your standard attack and defend option. So with 2 attacks. So one for me is called Ice Shard. Gee, I wonder, is Ice Beam and Ice Shard? I wonder why. I wonder what the reference is for. What does instantly deal 2 white magic ice attacks and reduce the time for next attack. Essentially means, like I told you about instant attacks already, and reducing the time for the next attack just means, well, you get to wait less time to go from already to once you're done with attacking, start waiting again to it's your turn again. Because if you notice, my speed stat's pretty low, which means that you start my turn slower than other characters. So yeah, I'm a freaking white mage with like who just like stands there being tough, who just can't get there in time usually. But this can actually help. This can help like when it's like I want to use Ice Shard again, then it'll be much faster than normal, or use Ice Shard and then use like I don't know, a healing move. That's pretty helpful. And the second attack I get is I call it Pick Me Up or Quick Fix. I can't decide between the two. Heal a party member, okay, and grant the character haste. So in other words, use haste and you'll use, I don't know, Kiraga or something on that on a certain party member. Simple enough, that's really simple. No big deal. Now, something kind of insane just recently happened outside of Japan, and this is called Overstrike Soul Breaks. Holy crud! So, Cloud, would you do the honors of showing what the heck is going on? So imagine this, you use Cloud, and then you start using his finishing touch. You send the opponent up in the air, go to the clouds, and all of a sudden, what? What's with the 5 digits? Well, the Overstrike Soul Breaks are super attacks that can break the damage limit of 9,199. To some, it's going to be insane, but others going to be like, why? But, they're generally more powerful than the Super Soul Breaks. And, of course, they're insane because they're really meant for, like, the super high-end event bosses, more than anything. What is my Overstrike? Yes, I've on my version 1 and 2 of scripting this video, that didn't exist, so here I am now. Sheer Cold, which is originally what I wanted for my burst, but I decided to cut that out and put as a Overstrike. Sheer Cold, yes, a third one. Deal 8 ranged physical, which means that it's not a melee attack, which means it could hit some bosses that are immune to melee. Ice / non-elemental damage, meaning that it's an ice attack, but if the opponent is resistant or immune to ice, it instead deals non-elemental damage. To every enemy, ignoring defense, which means that even though I have somewhat of a sucky attack stat, it ignores the defense stat of my opponent. And Imperil Ice to all enemies. What is Imperil? Imperil Ice just means that, oh, now the enemy is now more weak to ice. If they were not weak to ice before, they are now weak to ice. If they resist ice before, then they'll get less resistant. If they're immune to ice, then it will not heal the opponent. So that's what Imperil Ice means. Now, you probably noticed that this Overstrike would actually help with my other ice-based Soul Breaks. Which is kind of why it's there, really. To be more not only as a strong attack and assisting tool to whenever I get more Soul Break gauge up. Which is probably not likely because I don't have support 4, which grants me the ability Wrath, which that just gives me one, just charges up my soul gauge more, or Combat 4, I believe, which gives you Life Siphon, which is an attack, and then the same thing, and then charge your soul break even further. So good luck with that. Good luck for that. Now, I said earlier about getting something called relics, which are essentially weapons and armor you have to buy using Mithril, which is in-game or real-life money, to grant soul breaks. What kind of weapons I would have for that? So for a unique soul break preparation, you need to get the staff named Saffron Staff. Holy crap! Wait, Ice Speed, Ice Shard, Sheer Coat, and the word Saffron. Jeez, the references. Which is a core realm staff. Again, core realm means that if I end up finding a core realm that I can be in, that weapon gets a boost, but generally does not get any boost in any other situation. And since staves are generally mind boosting weapons, let's have that one also boost defense because it's meant for me. Next up, to get my Guardian Angel, you need to get a bow named Lunar Messenger. Because, for those who don't know Bible lore, angels are meant to be messengers. So that's why I needed that. And Lunar for the moon, because you know me, and a certain navy blue princess. But, since bows generally also have some sort of mind boost alongside attacking boost, and I think some magic boost too. Let's also have a boost of defense and resistance, because, well, again, it's meant for me, so let's have a more suitable weapon for who it's meant for. And next is my signature weapon, the Ice Saber. It's not only is this a sword, which unlocks Blistered, but by itself, without context, it also increases ice damage, meaning that if you have ice elemental attacks with you and you can equip swords, you can equip the Ice Saber and do more damage with ice moves than without it. And because swords only increase attack, let's have increased defense and mind, because again, it's meant for me and I need mind and defense. Okay. And of course, a moderate boost, meaning that it's a super strong weapon, so it's meant to have a lot of boost, a lot of stats up. And now for the the sheer cold, the Overstrike. I've noticed that Overstrike can also be Soul Break, can also be like armor pieces, so it doesn't have to be weapons. So let's make it a shield, which is I intentionally made it based on my Star Snow logo, which is my 5-pointed snowflake. So basically, turn that into a shield. The logo of Star Snow. It's it looks like an ice-based shield. It's not an ice-based shield. It's just a regular shield that doesn't help with any elements, but it does create a lot of boosts to defense, resistance, and mind. Because shields need to do that. All right, so that is all for what I want in a character in Record Keeper. There are quite a few things I missed, but it's generally not important, like record dives or record spheres, whatever, and all sorts of ridiculous stuff that I don't know about that well. Or what stats will have at level 99, considering that to get sometimes to get fourth record material, you need level 99, which I'm not going to because it's not widely used on every character yet. So that is all for this, admittedly, me just gushing over this game with an OC. So see you guys later for something else.